The Mia Goth situation is not only weird in its own right, but it's also weird because of the online reaction people are having. As you can see here, if you type it in on Twitter, they're basically just memeing it to high heaven, as the internet does. But before we get to that, first, we have to talk about the situation itself. Mia Goth sued by Maxine Extra. You kicked me in the head. Maxine is just a movie that Mia Goth is in that's in post-production right now, so it'll probably come out sometime in 2025. This is a short article, so bear with me. Actress Mia Goth, known for her X and Pearl films, is being sued by a background extra in one of her upcoming films in the series, after allegedly kicking him in the head on purpose during a take. According to the docs obtained by TMZ, director Ty West and A24, which is a movie studio, are all being sued by an extra for an upcoming flick, claiming things got physical last year as they were shooting late at night. The background actor says the scene called for him to wear a robe and be covered in fake blood from head to toe, and he says he had to lay down in the dirt and play dead for several hours, quote, enduring ants and mosquitoes, which is not really related to the violence part. Mia, who plays Maxine, was supposed to run past the actor, step over him, look at him, then keep running. But after a few takes, the actor claims that, quote, Mia nearly stepped on him. He says that Mia was warned to be careful, but instead he claims she intentionally kicked him in the head with her boot on the following take, causing serious pain and neck stiffness. He says doctors later told him that he suffered a concussion. He claims no medical assistance was provided on set. Instead, Mia approached him in the bathroom and, quote, taunted, mocked, and belittled him, unquote, daring him to do anything about what went down. What's more, he says, the fake blood had stuck to his body, so peeling off the bloodstained robe caused more pain, and he claims he experienced headaches on the drive home and nearly passed out twice during the trip. As if that wasn't enough, the actor says he was taken off the production the following incident. He's now suing for at least $500,000 in damages for battery and wrongful termination plus punitive. We've reached out to Mia's team for comment, no word back so far. And as bad as that sounds, the specific part I want to emphasize here is the suit alleges that on the fourth take, Goth nearly stepped on him. Hunter, who is the name of the plaintiff, complained to the second assistant director, and the concern was relayed to Goth. On the next take, according to the suit, Goth deliberately kicked him in the head with her boot. After the scene was completed, Hunter alleges that he was in the bathroom and Goth came in, taunted, mocked, and belittled him, daring him to do anything about it. So allegedly, Mia Goth was doing a bit in a movie in which she's stepping over a bunch of dead bodies. One of the people she accidentally almost stepped on during one of the takes, after he complained to the director, she decided she was going to take things into her own hands, because I guess that annoyed her for some reason, and so she intentionally, according to the lawsuit, and all allegedly of course, kicked him in the head on the next take in order to, I guess, get back at him. She then, I guess, stalked him and followed him into the bathroom in order to make fun of him, and then later, inexplicably, he was fired. So he's suing essentially everyone involved, Mia Goth, the director of the movie, and also the movie studio itself, because nothing was done, no medical assistance was given, so on and so forth. I believe he's suing for $250,000 in damages, plus an additional $250,000 in what's called punitive damages, which is what a court awards to someone in order to teach a lesson to the company who committed whatever crime it was. Now, when this article was reported and tweeted out on PopCrave, people had some concerning reactions to it. Well, there's the article right there, but then as you scroll down and you see people's replies to it, you see things like, we'll be supporting Mia Goth during these troubling times. Someone else says, taunted, mocked, and belittled in the bathroom. I do not believe that happened at all. And said, that's not her problem. Maybe get out of her way. And then you come down here and it says some weird responses. Yep, that's absolutely true. Like, oh, she knew she needed to mother. He probably deserved it. Some people would pay good money for that. And then there's also others. But you get the idea. The double standards here are wild, and it's even more wild that a lot of these double standards where people are saying, like, that's not her problem, maybe get out of the way. Okay, first of all, he was laying on the floor pretending to be dead, so he wasn't supposed to move, has gotten 2,900 upvotes, which is one of the most upvoted comments here on this thread. And it's weird that people are not taking this seriously, because you can imagine if the roles were reversed and a male actor kicked a female extra in the head while she was down on the ground pretending to be dead, then people would be understandably and correctly absolutely livid about it. But a lot of people aren't really seeming to take it particularly seriously, and that's most likely because it was a female that was committing these crimes against a male. And male abuse tends to be taken less seriously than female abuse. Now, there's a reason a lot of people got upset at this guy, Matt Rife, when he made in his Netflix special jokes about domestic violence against women, and essentially all corners of the internet got upset about him. But then there's also an equally and much more sad reason that people, when it comes to domestic abuse against a male, are really just making memes about it. As you can see, if you type it in, I'm not filtering for anything, just by the top, and so many of these are, there's a couple defending, but by and large, it is people making jokes about the situation and memes about the situation, essentially making fun of it instead of actually taking this seriously, even though it is probably something that should be taken seriously. Now, obviously, these are significant claims and proof needs to be provided in a court of law in front of a judge who will then decide what actually happened and who is in the right and wrong and so on. You know how the legal system works. But I think this kind of helps shine a light on a larger, more systemic issue of celebrities having superiority complexes and believing that them being famous gives them the right in order to try and get away with more stuff. And look no further than examples like Ezra Miller. If you go down to his legal issues section, you can see he's had quite a large amount of legal issues, and I actually copied and pasted this into a Word doc, and it's almost 2,000 words of all the legal issues he's had. And yet he still gets to star in huge movies, and he's very famous and still gets invited to Marvel and other Hollywood premieres. But he's by no means the only recent example of a celebrity that thinks they're too good and gets away with this kind of stuff. But you remember Danny Masterson, very famously on That 70s Show? You can read that most recently, on May 2023, he was convicted of raping 2 women in 2003, while charges from a third assault resulted in a hung jury, which just means they couldn't decide. But in September, he was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. But more recently, there's Jonathan Majors, who was slated to be kind of the next big Marvel villain. It was going to be an absolutely massive role for him and make him essentially a household name insofar as Marvel household names exist. But he was convicted of assaulting his ex-girlfriend and is still currently waiting to be sentenced. If the situation with Mia Goth is true, I absolutely hope he gets persecuted, because we need these kinds of wins in order to give non-famous people some reasonable protections against famous people who have poor intentions, like Ezra Miller, Danny Masterson, or Jonathan Majors. So some hot takes for you to end the video. 1, assault is bad. 2, we should support victims. And 3, we should also try not to belittle people that are coming forward bravely with their stories, regardless of what their gender is. Thanks for watching.